Obstacle number 4, the white man. Okay, I've been racking my brain trying to come up with things the white man is doing today that's hurting black folks, keeping the black man down. And it's slim pickings. White racism still exists. It's not the norm for white people, but it's there, it's sizable and loud, and every so often it rears its ugly head. Like life isn't hard enough as it is, black folks get to deal with that shit as well. Then there's law enforcement, but that's a complicated issue that's best left for another day. You know, as difficult as this stuff can be, the occasional bigot or relatively small percentage of dirty cops, you know, none of it actually stops black America from being successful. In fact, while I was racking what's left in my brain, I came to an interesting realization. And we can argue whether or not the white man wants to keep the black man down. You say, of course he does. And he's real good at it. Been doing it for a while. I say the white man's too busy worrying about his own shit to give a flying turd fuck about yours. And the realization I came to was, it doesn't matter. Because the white man can't keep the black man down. He used to be able to, now he can't. That train has left the station. Only the black man can keep the black man down. However, black America does have some historical and institutional obstacles they have to face that other Americans don't. For example, you ever notice how every time black America starts to get a foothold, a chance at real success, thump, the rug gets pulled out from under them. Most horrifically in the 1920s in Tulsa and Rosewood. That was over 100 years ago, and it still reverberates today. See what happens. See what happens. After World War II, black America said, finally, we fought bravely for our country. We shall be accepted into American society. Bam! Hypersegregation. When Dr. King and others brought about the historic Civil Rights Acts of the 1960s, which finally put black America in a legal position to succeed, bam! Vietnam and Nixon's war on drugs. As a 1-2 punch like a Another obstacle is the income and wealth gaps. Although the income gap is very real, it's not the problem. It's actually the result of other problems. Now, the wealth gap, that's a fucking problem. Without wealth, it's like each generation has to start over from scratch. Nothing's being passed down or accumulated. Even a little bit of wealth is like a handoff from one generation to the next. And there's a lot of handoffs out there that aren't going to black America. And I'm not talking about the 20%. I'm talking about the 80%. That's because until very recently, black America wasn't able to accumulate wealth in any kind of meaningful way. Every time they got close, bam, something happened. Talk about new money, old money. Black folks don't have any old money. It's mostly just new money. So if we can agree that there is a wealth gap, what can we do about it? What can white people do? Apart from feeling helpless and guilty. What can we do? Affirmative action. First off, what a great name. So positive. The only reason affirmative action has negative connotations for some is because of its association with quotas. And if that's true, they ain't wrong. Quotas suck. It's weird though. Whenever we talk about quotas, we always hear about all the white people losing out on jobs and educational opportunities to lesser qualified black people. But we never ever hear about all the better qualified black people who lose out on jobs and opportunities to lesser qualified white people simply because daddy doesn't own the stove. There's already an unfair system in place for white America. A system of networks and nephews. Unless, of course, you believe George W. Bush actually had the grades or test scores to get into Yale University. He did not have the grades to get into Yale. He got into Yale because Daddy went to Yale, and Daddy was a big deal with a lot of money. A lot of old money. If we're going to oppose affirmative action, then we need a world where George W. Bush doesn't get to go to Yale because he didn't earn it. He wasn't qualified. And it's not unusual. Heck, the only reason we even know about it is because he eventually became president of the United States. If a black guy wants to be president, he better graduate magna cum laude from Harvard Law School. Look, I know the average white person isn't rolling around in generational wealth. But it doesn't hurt any of us if some black kid somewhere who's kicking ass and taking names gets a little more access to those networks and nephews. The wealth gap is the biggest obstacle not within black America's power to fix. This one, we have to work together. Personally, if it were me, fuck that. I wouldn't worry about the white man. If he wants to do the right thing and support something like affirmative action as a fair way to address past and recent racial injustice, awesome. That'd be great. Sure make things a lot easier. Say, maybe one day we can all live happily ever after. But meanwhile, I take care of the first 3 obstacles within my control and guarantee my success. And the white man can be whatever he wants to be. I mean, he can't stop you. You don't need his permission.